We live, baby. Oh, we live, baby. We're live. Hi, everybody. I don't even know what that is over there in the corner. Lower. Okay. Y'all give us a minute, okay? What's this over here in this corner, babe? Where? I don't see it. Okay. I don't know what it is. We'll figure it out later. Okay, but we're back, y'all. Hey, everybody. Welcome to my LinkedIn Live. Happy Saturday, everybody. I am Tina Marie. For those of you that follow me, for those of you who are new to me, I am Tina Marie of Tina Marie, the Bridge Builder, and the Alliance for Women of Color, where my organizations and my platforms are for the empowerment, the inspiration, and the healing of women. Specifically, I look out or like to highlight or showcase women of color in business and really showcasing those women that are brand new, branching out, about 5 years in business to kind of support them. So if y'all are in here, that means you're supporting a small woman business owner. So thank you so much for tuning in today, y'all. I got my friend here with me. Whitney Harvey is one of the youngest, well, from where I come from, one of the youngest attorneys I know. I mean, there's some young ones out there that are breaking records, 20, whatever. But I met Whitney, I think, 5 years ago, man?
Maybe longer.
Oh, no, it has been longer.
Yeah.
Oh, it
It's
has.
been a while.
Wow, how is the time flying?
I know. Maybe 7, 8 years?
Yeah, no, it's 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I just put that together.
Yeah.
It's 8 years. So I've known Whitney for 8 years. When I met her, she was 32, 33.
It would have been 30 back then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was you only?
You're not old.
Please make me feel old.
You're not.
Whitney, were you 30?
I think so.
Yeah. I feel away. I feel away, everybody. But anyway, so she was 30 years old, a young Black attorney. I was so proud. And I was like, wow, this is, just to be in a position with someone that is a young Black achieving woman was so impressive. I'm going to tell you that right now. I was so impressed. And then further, when we met, and then how did we meet? Oh, a financial advisor. I set a meeting with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right. That's
Mhm.
right. Okay.
And we just became friends.
Yep, we became friends. Yep, I didn't become her advisor, but we became fast friends because then we found out we both were from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were both from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we hit it off right away. We went to the same elementary school and found that out. Of course, I didn't go when she went, but same elementary school in Milwaukee. She moved here at 13 years old.
Yes.
With her mom, right, and sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my sister was born here.
Oh, yeah, your sister was born here, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just me and mom.
Oh, yeah, just you and your mom. But them earrings is hot.
Thank you.
I like them, baby. So first of all, you look so pretty, babe.
Thank you.
You look pretty. You look relaxed. You look like you're glowing. You look in zen.
Yeah.
The hug you gave me when you came in was like,
Yeah.
I felt that. I felt like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like, okay.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that comes across because I know in the past I might have showed up and you could kind of feel a little bit of angst and, just being unsettled, and it feels good to have like a homecoming, really.
Yeah.
Back to myself.
I like that homecoming.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about, so did you aspire to become an attorney? Is that how that happened?
Yeah, it was, my mom was a single mom, teenage mom, and when I was like 6, I remember her saying, "Don't bring any C's into this house." She was very determined to have me succeed. And so from the time I was maybe 6, 7 years old, it was, my mom having me think about what I might want to do, like very career focused. Mm-hmm. She didn't want any doors closed to me. So she had me thinking about a profession, not just like a job. And so I was considering being an attorney, and I thought about going to medical school too. And I think what happened was in 5th grade, one of my best friends, her dad was a judge in Milwaukee. And we took a school field trip and we saw him presiding. And I just thought it was so cool. And I liked how their family was, like the whole, like kind of like the Obamas almost. It gave you that feeling. And I associated that with, attorney, judge, that life. So after that, I was like, okay, I want to be a lawyer. So that's really,
wow,
that's
that
how
was
I chose.
it.
Yeah.
That's so it was never like you found yourself in the debate team, you found yourself doing, and you were like, oh, okay, this is a talent for me. You seen another person, and these were these people of color, it's black people, and
The judge was,
right.
yes.
That's what I mean. So you seen them like, it's important that we have that kind of representation.
Yeah.
Right, because don't you think that kind of fostered the belief system of I can be in this room too, right?
It did,
Yeah.
because up until then I didn't really know any attorneys, and so like seeing that, I was super impressed with it. And then after that, it was, I'd be speech and debate, I'd be in a criminal justice class, and I'd lead the mock trial, and then, they're like, the teacher would come up to me and say, are you considering a career as being a lawyer? And I'm like, yeah. So it kind of, it was foundational, and then I built upon that of where I was like, okay, I really have the skill set and I can do well with it. But I was thinking I was going to go into criminal law, honestly. I thought I was going to start off doing that. Never thought of civil, never thought of corporate, never really aspired for that. I was thinking I'm going to be, in social justice and criminal justice and yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so take us to the journey of when you got into school. Now you're in law school. Are those dots still connecting for you? Are you still attached to the aspiration of being a lawyer? Like, as you're in school, are you still in it? Or was there a moment that was like, I don't know if this is like what I should be doing? Or were you like, this is it, I found it?
Yeah, in law school, it was still very much that aspirational identity of that was all I knew. I had worked towards that, even in my undergraduate degree, like everything was the resume building up to law school. Mm-hmm. So I don't remember ever like questioning my path in law school because I was immersed into that professional identity of being a lawyer. Wow. So that was the only, I went straight from undergraduate to law school. So there was no other consideration at that point.
So do you think that there was no other consideration because you didn't take a break in between law school and then from your undergrad to law school? Do you think that somewhere because you didn't take a break that you kind of just powered through, that you have an opportunity to really sit with yourself and say, is this what I really want?
Yeah, for sure, because it was going from high school to undergrad. You're in learning and student mode. Yeah. You have built-in milestones, so that's your goals for yourself. I need to take this class, I need to graduate. So it's very much school mode. I didn't really do the inner self-reflection to be like, pause, is this what I really want to do? It was, I can't think of anything else, this has to work. Yeah. So I just kept going, graduated, got to my first job, which ended up being a firm job. I never expected to get a firm job because they're like highly coveted. And so I just didn't think I was going to get one, and I got one. And then the first year I was there, I'm like, okay, like I don't think, there was a disconnect. I'm like, I don't think that this is what I signed up for. And then it was kind of the unraveling and the feeling lost and trying to figure everything out because I hadn't taken the pause. Wow. In between. I had to figure it out while I was actually learning to practice.
Wow. So you got out of law school, you passed your bar. So that had to be exciting, right? Yeah. So even in passing your bar, you're still like, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. I'm on the road to being who I want to be. Yeah. And then from there, you landed a firm job.
I did.
As a young black woman in law, you landed a firm job. Yeah. Okay. So that's so big, right? That's a big deal. So you would think like, okay, now I've landed this firm job. I'm in it. Now I'm just about to be the best. But you get in there and there's a click. Like, what was it first? Was it, I don't think that this is it because I don't like the firm, or I don't think this is it because I think that law is not for me? What was the first light bulb? What was the first piece to that?
I think I really enjoyed the firm. When I first got there, I was like, love the firm. I love the friends I had at the firm. And I think for me, it was the work. I was doing insurance defense litigation, so I was defending insurance companies and like their insurance. Wow. And so I felt so disconnected from why I went to law school, which me thinking I was going to go into like criminal, either a prosecutor or defense, and even doing an internship in law school for the public defender's clinic, to shifting now to being in this civil litigation role where I'm helping to insurance companies save money, which is a job that needs to be done.
Yeah.
But I didn't even think of that job existing when I went to law school.
Yeah.
It was something that came out of, you're there a few years, you start interviewing with firms, you learn, okay, what is civil litigation, what is insurance defense, and I ended up doing that, and it was not even something I even contemplated going into law school. So it was very hard to wrap my head around, okay, I'm doing this, but I'm not serving my community, I'm not doing the kind of work I really want to do.
And so that's when it clicked. But the check had to be nice, babe.
Yeah. Well, that's why I did it for 12 years.
That check had to be nice, baby.
Yeah.
I'm lawyering around here. Y'all come help me take my check home.
Yeah.
So the check had to be nice.
Yes.
So that probably was part of what made you stay there a little longer, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's something. Okay.
For sure.
So now you're in this firm and you're helping the big insurance companies to save money, and you're like, this ain't it. And so now that role was not it, or that type of lawyering was not it.
Yeah.
Is that what you thought? So now then you do what? Now do you leave there and do what?
Yeah, so then it was that soul searching, because I stayed there 6 years. Which was kind of a long time, because then you kind of get pigeonholed into, oh, you're the insurance defense attorney, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm trying to break out of this. Yeah. So I went in-house as a corporate attorney for an insurance company. So I'm still in insurance, but I'm trying to get more corporate, try to get away a little bit from just being insurance. And then I ended up going back to a firm and being able to work for cities and towns and doing more municipal work. So I just tried to, each place I went to from there, I tried to make up for lost time. I was really soul searching and trying to see what fit. Okay, it's not insurance defense. Maybe I want to do something else that's more connected. Maybe I want to do work for plaintiffs, people that are hurt, that they're the actual injured party. Maybe I want to do that. And so I really went on several years of exploring through different firms and environments of trying to get more connected to the work.
Okay.
Yeah.
More connected to the work, meaning more connected to the people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. More
Okay.
connected to the people.
Okay. So then you went from there to personal injury.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Talk about that, because that's more for the people, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're going to personal injury law, right? So is at that point are you like, okay, this is all right. I'm back in my square. I'm a lawyer. I'm back. The judge I seen that inspired me many years ago. This is why I did this. I'm helping the little people. I'm back inside my square. Did that happen to you for a little while, or after you got in personal injury, were you still like, this ain't it?
It was, it was twofold, because it was, I'm back to helping people the people that really need help. And I'm also making even more money. So that was the other part. I already was making more money. You go on to this side, I'm making the most money I made, but I'm working the hardest I've ever worked. And it started becoming to the place where on the business side, we were growing, and I didn't feel like I was serving in the way I wanted to serve. So it was almost like putting out fires and not strategically being able to know my clients, build those relationships. You know what I mean? Not just be like,
so they
hi, I'm your lawyer.
Yeah, they were kind of just numbers.
It was a numbers thing, and it started getting it changed, it shifted, and I didn't want to be for the people in that way, where it's like, I barely know you, you know what I mean? I'm not really feeling comfortable in practicing the way I want to practice, because I have 250 cases. Yeah, I don't want to do it that way.
Caseload was crazy, but the bag had to be better.
It was. It was. And it was. And that was through the pandemic. So then, the whole world changed.
Yeah.
And I was working from home and really enjoying that piece. And I think I started thinking about what's the next step going to be. Because I always knew in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to practice after 40 years old. I just always knew it from the first year. I knew I was going to have multiple careers. I just did. And with the pandemic, I started thinking, okay, like, what's my exit strategy? How do I start to kind of come out of this a little bit, and maybe I go back to school. Then I'm trying to figure out how to get away from this lawyer identity I've had for, that was 13 years, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so let's shift. So now personal injury law, caseload is insane. Bag is nice,
Yeah.
right? You're getting paid nice.
Mhm.
But now there's still something missing. There's a void.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the part I love. This is the part I love because I love when people find what God has called them to do. I love that. I love when it like clicks and you're like, oh Lord, okay, Father God, is this it? This is what you want me to do?
Yeah.
And so you're in personal law, personal injury. You're helping the people, or not really.
Yeah.
You're helping them, but not creating those relationships, not really making the difference you want to make.
Yeah.
Now, and also the money is significantly greater, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, at what moment do you say, I'm walking away from the prestige of being with a firm, like
Yeah.
young Black women being with the firm, like I can't never like not have that on the table because that's a big deal. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
you know your colleagues, you know what that industry looks like,
Yeah.
right? So because we, Black people, we want all Black people that are doctors and lawyers to stay there so that we can like use our, like she could be a lawyer, look at her, she look like you could be one too.
Yeah.
Right? So not only are you leaving the prestige of being an attorney, you're also leaving the financial piece and also walking away from a career that's not really that's not really seen in our culture.
Yeah.
Right? So you're walking away from all of this. So there has to be something really important that's tugging at you to make you want to walk away from all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So tell me what that first feeling was like where you were like, this ain't it. And take us from that first feeling of this ain't it to this is it. And the revelation of what that felt like.
Yeah. You know, honestly, I think what happened was each work environment that I was going to, it got better each time because I knew how to advocate for myself and promote myself. So I took the experiences and I made sure I was more proactive going each place to make it so I had more peace where I was at. And I think though, every time you're in a new space though, you're there and you're still seeing someone else run the show. And you're looking and thinking, yeah, this, I'm still seeing people be treated in a certain way that's not kind, it's not civil, it's hurting people psychologically, their well-being. And no matter what environment I went into, I saw an aspect of that. I couldn't just shut it off. No place is perfect, right? Like there's gonna always be some element of that. But I think I became impassioned in the well-being of employees, of creating cultures that were motivating, inspiring, uplifting, considering the human experiences of people. And we're so client-focused, as lawyers. But I wanted to say, like, well, hey, do you guys see this person suffering right next to us in the office next to us? Like, just really people that were being ignored. And my heart was really, like, heavy for that. And I think it was going to each place, it was getting better, but I still saw, and especially in the legal field, we got a lot of work to do. And so culturally, I said, I don't want to be a part of this. Maybe there's some way I can help uplift and be a part of the cultural change. And so I said, okay, I want to go back to school. I want to study industrial and organizational psychology, and I really want to do more around organizational change management, culture change, reform, and not just in the legal space, but beyond. Yeah. But it was like, I'm going to have to go back to school. I have to get this PhD. So I had to start thinking, okay, well then how does my life have to look? I can't practice like I'm practicing doing this. And so it really was like one thing after the other. I met with the recruiter, signed up for the program, got into the program, and then it was like, I have to find a job that can accommodate it. So I really wasn't planning on starting my own business when I did. I just took the first step. And then it was like, okay, well then the next step is I had to leave that firm. I got into more of a balanced firm where I was 100% remote, and I could balance school in that until I couldn't. And then it was like, school is priority. And then I'm like, okay, let me just go ahead and start the business now. I don't have to wait till the PhD is done. You know what I mean? We put all these barriers. I'm like, I don't have to wait for that to be done, to start a business, to learn and fail forward, fail faster, whatever you want to call it. So it was an accidental start of the, because I was going to start it later, but I ended up starting it, being immersed in a community of women entrepreneurs and hearing their stories, testimonials, hearing them start from their living rooms, and me feeling activated to be able to start last fall. And that's what I did.
Man, that is something else. Listen, because that's how it really happens. I'm gonna tell you something. Entrepreneurship is like, it's a sealed door of not knowing what's on the other side. And it's sealed, man. And you're like, I need all these things to unseal it, to get the door open, I need all these things to take place in order for me to get on the other side of the door. Entrepreneurship, that's really what you feel like. Like, I feel like that's what it's gonna be. And then something happens, okay? You know, I love the Lord, so I'm always talking about God. And that something is God to me. I feel like the door is sealed for the human piece to it. And that when you finally settle on yourself and allow God to do his work, then that door becomes like one of automatic doors. Like when you walk up to the door, it just opens up for you. It becomes like that. And then when it opens up, there's this first little thing there for you to pick up. And once you pick it up, baby, it's on.
Yes.
It's going. As you're going. And you look up, you done quit your job, right? You done modified your life, scaled back some things, and now you're going and you're building. And although the money is not there anymore, right? You're not lawyering anymore in that sense. But now the calling is pulling at you, and now you begin to build from that. So tell us, because this is the story about transitioning from corporate America into your calling. So tell us how it felt. We got how it happened now. How did it feel though? What was your, like, was you scared, babe? Did you miss the money? Tell us all, because you know I keep Would you like, where's my check at? What is this? Did you miss all of that? What happened?
You know, in the beginning, not so much. Okay, so this is what happened. I decided, because I told you this was an accident, I decided I need 6 months off of work. I had been saving, not knowing for when, but I knew I was in this PhD. I'm practicing. I'm like, at some point, I'm going to have to switch. So I was just saving, and then it got to a point, litigation-wise, where I'm like, I can't continue this life-wise, and so I had to leave from that firm, the last firm I was at. And at that point, I was still comfortable because I only planned on 6 months of not working. Then I was going to go back into work, not in the legal space, but more in the area I was going into. So like workplace investigations or behavioral science or something more, you know, like HR kind of component. So I didn't plan to be out of work that long. So I was secure because I had enough money to be comfortable still for not really, probably like 9 months. And so I didn't feel it initially. I was excited. It was good. I got activated, started this business. I was just immersed in it, still attached to the legal space because the first business was coaching and consulting for legal professionals. So I was still kind of like 1 foot in there. And so I wasn't too worried. I thought this business was going to take off. Like, lawyers are miserable. We talk about it every day. Like, there's a need for well-being. There's a need for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Surely people are going to be consulting and coaching with me. Like, it's going to take off. And so I'm doing this for 6 months, 7, 8 months. I'm like, okay, it's not really matriculating the way. It's not really happening to the level I thought.
As soon as you start a business, the first thought in your mind is, man, this is going to take off. People need this.
Yes.
It's what you think. People need it.
My friends, my colleagues, everybody's like, we need this. How do we do this? And then they weren't inviting me into their organization. They weren't having me come do trainings and workshops. Those same people that were in the trenches with me. So you have to transition for yourself, not based on what other people are telling you and the support you expect, because you probably won't get it from your friends and family initially. You know, you'll get it from strangers first, and that was just my experience of the people invite me, were people I connected with through LinkedIn, sending a message and them saying, come to Colorado and speak. You know, it wasn't like my immediate contacts here in Phoenix, surprisingly. So I had to learn that too. But yeah, I thought it was gonna take off. And that's when I started getting nervous, was probably 8-9 months in, seeing that it wasn't this, you know, perpetual state of business coming in. And a lot of it too, I think, you know, trying to get community support and backing and grants. There's a real misconception that lawyers, you know, there's this privilege and they're not suffering, and they're some of the most suffering individuals you will see in any profession. That's my opinion. And so, especially attorneys of color, women lawyers, and so there wasn't a lot of like support around, let me give this grant to this coach for legal professionals. Why? Why do they need it? Finances aren't a problem for lawyers. Yes, it is. You know, you did financial advising. So I've tried to really put a lens on a lot of the issues that lawyers face, because I feel like there's a lack of empathy there, because people think you're a lawyer, you got it all together. And it's like, no, there's a lot of issues. So that's a whole other sidebar. But I also, through that experience, recognized that I wanted to serve more than just lawyers. I wanted to do more with really bridge builders, community advocates, social workers, therapists, educators, people that are in the trenches doing this kind of
philanthropic work.
And feeling, you know, we got to protect our peace and our energy, and being able to refuel and replenish and have a community around that.
And we need, I think all jobs, all professions need an advocate that's providing a space of safety, of well-being, of health and wellness, of mental health support. And I think when you pull back what calls a lot of people, that's what we're all really called to do, is provide this safe environment where people can come and get the support they need. Be held in a space that allows you to reflect and allows you to pause, so that you can identify whether or not, is this really what I want to do, right? How many people you can save from saying, is this what I really want to do? Is this in those spaces that you're looking to offer, that allows people to really take a couple of deep breaths and really think about what it is I've been called to do. Right, so I can get out of a state of misery, a state of being overworked, a state of feeling underappreciated, and a state of feeling like I am not doing my part for the world. I'm not giving back in a way that's being impactful and making a difference in the world. And I think when we look at everything, I think all business owners, if they really took a real reflective look on their lives, what the business is, we're in the business of helping to provide a space of healing for mankind. I really believe, whether that's through music, through art, through creating a space for women to be connected, to feel empowered, to be highlighted in business, whether it's for attorneys and other corporate professionals to come and take wellness, breath sessions, all these things that help others to be better, to get these bridges connected, to say to people that are probably living in their dream, let me help you to harness a skill set that says there can be a balance. There's ways you can love what you do without being miserable. Yeah.
And being able to, I love all of what you said. And being able to, there's a different level, a different layer to being able to do the work authentically too. Because you know, in the corporate space, a lot of us, especially Black women, we do so much to diminish ourselves and our individuality. And then we're like fighting for it back at a certain point. And I did that, you know, I showed up, I didn't want to stand out for being a Black woman, anything like that. I wanted to really blend in. I wasn't aware of it at the time. I thought I was still being authentic. But when I look back at it, I avoided a lot of conversations that could have been educational to colleagues and peers. I didn't talk a lot about my personal history, you know, like I just really started toning down things. And towards the end of practicing, that was kind of my, it's gradual when we were getting back into your calling. It really is a gradual phase. And I started showing up more authentically. I started advocating for myself more. And it was on that tail end of, okay, now I'm becoming empowered. And now I want my own stuff. I want to create my own things, and I don't want someone to set my value. And so it's a gradual thing if you'll let it, but it's like a knock at the door. And if you ignore it, it gets louder.
It gets louder.
I personally got a lot of anxiety. Socially, I was just my body was responding because I was ignoring what my soul, what my spirit, what God was telling me. And I'm like, no, more time, a new job, and I can stay here now.
Yeah.
And then it got shorter. It used to be 1 year, 2 years. Now it's 6 months. You're at the new job, and it's like, okay, knock, knock, knock.
Yeah.
Like, this ain't what we thought either, and you're just trying to ignore it, and then the body responds and takes over. And that's really what it was at the end of the day. I didn't like how I was feeling in my body.
Man, that's so good. That's so good, because that's what that's what they call the calling, right? That's what it is. I say that because we're the same, right? We're the same. So I stepped away from my financial services practice, and I've always been a successful person. I've never been average in any business endeavor, my business, my career, sales career, whatever. But I also never was full. And so once that calling is calling, it's calling you so much that it's like you can't hear anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is drowned out. Even when I was in financial services, I was hosting events, and we had a space, a beautiful clubhouse in the building where Northwestern Mutual was, and there was a space down there, and all I wanted to do was use that space to host events to empower women, right? I would try to wrap around some financial services stuff in there, but I never talked about financial services in those. I would host these events inside that space because we were, free to use the space. But when I was hosting the events in there, I never had my business cards out. I never talked about financial services. It was all these things like, how can I help to better the lives of women? And of course, specifically of women of color, how can I keep doing that? And so I would just host events using that space to empower the women around me. And it just kept getting louder and louder. And I was just like, you know what, this ain't for me. And I gotta move.
Yeah.
And 2019 is when the progression of it started. And 2021 is when it was like, let's go.
Yeah.
There's no net underneath me, right? I'm just out here. I'm just trusting God. I am literally walking by faith, trusting that God is going to, as long as I'm obedient to the calling, God is going to always make provisions financially, mentally, emotionally. He's going to continue to align me with the right people as long as I'm obedient to the calling. And I kept repeating that to myself every time all those things weren't happening, right?
Yeah.
When the money was running low,
yeah.
when the people that was coming around me was acting crazy, when I wasn't getting support from the community, when I wasn't getting support from people I thought I should, I just kept saying, stay obedient to the calling. And I kept saying that God continues to send the right women. He continues to keep downloading these visions of how to empower women better, how to provide space for them more, how to help them to highlight what they're doing so the world can find out about what they're doing. So yeah, that's it.
I love that. I was just listening to the downloading of the vision, because so many of us discount that. We get so many amazing visions that can be, I guess, we can be fearful around them if you don't have other women in your corner to help you cultivate it. Because you can feel like, this is too, I don't know about this, and feeling like, almost like you don't deserve to have a vision that big. But then I always say, if God is the creator and he's in us, we're supposed to be creating. But we're so uncomfortable with not just creating in terms of childbearing, but creating in terms of visionary giving birth to dreams,
Yeah.
businesses, organizations, communities. And that was something that I've got more comfortable. Every time you, like you said, you staying obedient, you're just taking that first step, and then more will get revealed to you. Because I remember there was a time when I was praying, like, what's my purpose, Lord? I was reading like T.D. Jakes, thinking I'm gonna finish the book and know my purpose.
You think you're gonna find your purpose in somebody else's, and you can. And people like, like sermons and because half of the sermons are motivational speeches anyway, right, from their perspective. So when they're doing that, I love motivational speeches, and I listen to them to add to what I'm already doing, right? But there are people that are listening to these people, searching and looking for their calling inside of these speeches. Oh, babe, you gotta go sit still, ask God what it is, allow God to download it in your spirit. Ask him to send me the visions, Lord. And then when the visions come, though, here's the work. Okay, so let's start talking about your business. Let's go ahead and swing and shift into this. So when the vision comes, when God gives it to you, you're like, that's what you want me to do, Lord? You're like, what? And you're like, how? How am I afford this building, God? How am I going to be able to afford to stay there? You know what? I need to educate, I need to provide a space. What? I don't understand. How am I going to do? So now the building of everything begins. How did you begin the building? How did that start for you? So tell first let's kind of step back a minute. Tell them exactly what your business is, what it is you do, and then from there go into how you begin to build and how visions kept coming to you, because you know that once you start the business, it ain't this one model that you think. God just keeps sending you stuff like, I need you to go out and do this. And you're like, what? Lord, let me figure this out first. So let's start with that. So tell us about your business.
Okay, so the first business that I created, the Self-Coach Lawyer, is coaching and consulting for legal professionals. My calling was to do more around spiritual well-being for lawyers.
Okay.
I was afraid to go all in on spiritual well-being because I thought it would turn people off. So I couched it in terms of burnout and work-life balance, which those things are still very important, but there was a deeper level of really spiritual well-being and finding alignment and finding purpose even in the legal work you're doing. And I wasn't leading with that because I was afraid, and I was kind of modeling other coaches and consultants, and you have to use the right message and the right hook. And I understand the business side, but I was always conflicted because I wanted to just rip the Band-Aid and be like, this is what I'm about, spiritual well-being. This is why we're spiraling. This is why we're feeling so fatigued and exhausted, is because we don't know how we fit into this or who we are in this world. That's really the message I wanted to have. But I'm dealing with a field and a profession that's not quite there. And so I felt very conflicted. And what I ended up doing was starting Gen 38. I guess this was 7-8 months into starting the other business. And I didn't do much around it, but I knew I wanted another business because people were following me on a Self-Coach Lawyer that were not lawyers. It was women in finance, women in healthcare. They just liked the message. And so I realized my message really wasn't only for lawyers. It was something that could go to other women of color. And so I felt guilty when I only had a lawyer-specific message, because I'm thinking this is applying to so many people, first generation, like just so much. And so I decided, okay, I got Gen 38 out there for other women that are not like necessarily legal professionals. So it's a lot of the same messaging, but what I did with Gen 38 was I went all in on the messaging in the beginning of this is what it's about. It's about spiritual well-being. It's about healing, like actually using the words healing. Like,
hallelujah.
It's about healing so that then we can be innovative and creative and be in purpose-driven success. So I've gotten more to that messaging with the Self-Coach Lawyer now, but I didn't start that way. And what happened was, you asked me how I started building it. I got involved in a business accelerator program for women and had that support, kind of work through some of the foundational things of your offers, your messaging, and communications and stuff like that you need to know, like how to run a business, especially if you've never been an entrepreneur. So that was very helpful.
Yeah.
But it was still for the masses. I didn't have that individualized support for this is what I want to do, and I want to go all in on something I've never seen done. I'm scared around it. Kind of the messaging was, yeah, you don't want to be too creative. You know, you want to be able to hook your people and not scare them off. So I hid from that spiritual well-being part. And honestly, what happened was stuff started drying up. I feel like God, when you're in your calling, He will have some patience with you, and then He will not have patience. And He will say, look, okay, I let you do it your way, and now you're gonna do it my way. And that was really the way I wanted to do it anyways, was His way. And so I got certified in hypno breathwork in May.
Come on.
And
a round of applause for that, babe.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I got exposed to it in a mastermind with women entrepreneurs and seeing the impact of, we have these emotional blockages, we have these psychological blockages, we have these fears and these doubts, and like getting more into our spiritual practice helps us become better entrepreneurs and better professionals. And so that opened me up to have the confidence to be able to bring that to the legal space, but then also to our community of saying, we have these fears, we have these beliefs, we have these family like life cycles and dynamics that make us feel like, who are we to dream in this way when everybody else supported us through law school and college? Now I want to, do hypno breath work, Had to work with my mom a little bit on that.
Like your mama, like, you want to do hypno what? Girl, you don't go back and teach to law.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's how and I get that. It's like, okay, I want to see where this is going.
Yeah.
And now she's like a complete fan and just really a big supporter and cheerleader.
Ain't that beautiful?
Yeah, it didn't take long. It's been a year. And so, my mom trusts me. She was also there seeing when I was crying and when I was miserable, only being an attorney and not doing more. She saw how it was affecting me, so that when I did decide to transition, she said, okay, because she saw the years of turmoil and the good parts too. I don't want to make it sound like it's only bad, but she just saw it wasn't true to me of this is how I'm only meant to serve. I'm supposed to use these advocacy skills and I'm supposed to do more in the community. That's what I realized. And so the building I got around a group of women. The business accelerator was very helpful, but it was starting to trust myself more, starting to trust the word of God when I heard it. And even if it sounded so visionary and expansive and different, I'm like, I'm going to do it. You take the one step, and then now I'm really wowed with the thoughts because I did the first thing. So now if I hear something, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And it takes me less time to do it. So, but you have to have that spiritual practice or mindfulness or whatever you want to call it, but you have to have that in your work or you're going to be closed off to that creativity. Because we're in survival mode when you're just working. We don't have the capacity to really dream big. I have girlfriends telling me, I don't know what my passions are. I don't even know who I am. And they're almost 40 mothers, wives, and no one had the space to really think about it. And now I'm like, it's your turn. It's your time to think about it. You deserve that, and it's what God's will is. So let's bring it out. So through hypno breathwork, I'm like, okay, you have that self-reflection. There's meditative component. There's the breathwork component to really clear out any stagnant energy or unprocessed emotions from the past. Release that, and then we can set our intentions from our soul vision, our true authentic vision, not our blocked or fearful or doubting space, where we sometimes set our goals from.
That's good. And what I got from there is 13 years and one. He was like, it wasn't all bad. And of course it wasn't all bad. And guess what it led to though? Because if you hadn't had those experiences, then there would be no testimony and there would be no, this is what's needed. So you have to go through that to get to here.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's why for so many years when I was praying, like, what's my purpose? And, we have to be prepared. We don't always want to hear how it comes back, but it was just keep doing this. Yeah. And I was waiting for it to be something else, like leave this profession, show me what to do next. And there was a lot of years of, I'll show you how to get to a better work environment. Okay, so then I did that. I'll show you how to expand, increase your visibility, and get the money you deserve. So he was like showing me how to expand within the field first. And then when it was time, it was like, okay, this is next. But I was praying for the revelation and it wasn't coming. So I think we get frustrated, but sometimes that's the answer. Is you gotta stick it out and wait for a while and I'll show you something better. But you gotta be patient too. And that's hard to hear when you're so restless and wanting something different.
Yeah.
But I think you can when you are still and when you really have that routine of being quiet. Because I was praying, but I wasn't really quiet.
Yeah. Gotta.
It's different. People think prayer is meditation. Prayer, we're asking for something or we're thinking, but we're not like just being connected, just connecting to the source without dialogue, but just getting the downloads that will come.
Yeah. Are you happy?
I am.
You are.
I'm happy.
That's good.
I am happy. It was business. I start my second business that's like my sole vision with less resources. So it's kind of that ego moment of like, in that fear of like, okay, what do we do? And each time it's just like surrender and trust. That's the message I get. Surrender, trust, and more.
So are you scared? Are you scared? Are you still scared right now?
No, as I sit here today, I'm not scared.
Hey.
2-3 weeks ago, I was, but I had to have that like collapse and surrender moment, and then it was like when you just know that it's beyond your control anyways, then there's almost a liberation of, okay.
It's a big liberation. Okay, so
Yeah.
so when you're in your calling, right? We're talking about you're in your calling, and let's shift a little bit. How has it advanced your personal relationships in your life? How has it affected your personal relationships in your life?
Yeah.
Because I feel like once you're truly in your calling, because when you're in your calling, you're walking with God. I feel like me and God are just side by side. We out here thugging it out. You know what I mean? It's me and the Lord, right? I'm hanging out with him every day after I get home from work. I just want to kind of connect to him. I want to sit still. I want him to send me what I need to continue going. And it also helps me to further better my relationships with my family, with my friends, with community. So how has it affected your personal relationships, this new Whitney Harvey, CEO of Gen 38?
Oh, I love hearing that.
Period, man.
I love it.
CEO of Gen 38.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I'm a kinder person. I'm a more patient person. I honestly probably need less of my friends and expect less, and not in a bad way. I think I used to be, when I was in that state of feeling lost, I needed so much from my friends, like you included. It's so that if something happened and they didn't respond like I wanted them to, or they disappeared in my mind or weren't as accessible to me, I personalized it, I made it about me, and it perpetuated that feeling of feeling and feeling hurt and wounded. And when you're in your calling now, I feel just grateful for the connections I have. I meet people where they're at. If you're still in my life, then I find value to it. And so I meet you where you're at. I don't expect things from people that they've shown me they're not going to bring, or that I don't really need from them. So I've just had a lot more grace, compassion with my friendships. I've felt really motivated to help my friends, work with my friends. I'm in business with my friends, doing coaching with them. It's fun. It's fun. It's rewarding. It's like, yeah, you can always go for new customers and clients, but the people you've known almost your whole life, like, why let's all elevate together. And I think that's been really rewarding too. So I just feel like I'm a kinder person, I'm a nicer person, I'm a more patient person. And when you really are about healing, you have to be, right? It's like that metamorphosis really starts inward. And so now I like to help other people look at their relationship, like look at their mom, their relationship with their mom or their dad, and just get to a place of some sort of inner harmony. And so you can just coexist and be, even if it's not what you wanted, but to not let it block you anymore, because that becomes a barrier to your success.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I am so happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to? Okay, so we're about to wrap up. So, we're. I'm going to end every segment now with just a random topic and see which one you want. So, do you want a random question around politics, celebrity news, or some interpersonal childhood question?
Ooh.
What you think, babe?
Okay, well, I was gonna say celebrity, then I'm like, I might not know who you're talking about. But so I would say celebrity or the interpersonal childhood stuff.
Okay, which one you want?
Let's do the interpersonal.
Okay, so let's talk about, we talked about, I want to talk about, when I talk to Black women, I want to talk about our relationships with dads, because we just talked about this, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, so you just talked about how your personal relationship has evolved and grown. You're more patient, more forgiving.
Yeah.
And we had a little conversation about dads when I was talking about my kid's father and how I taught my daughters forgiveness. And he may not have shown up in the best way, but you forgive people, right? Because I didn't want that on them. I didn't want them feeling lost or confused by why someone did not show up for them the right way.
Yeah.
So we talked about that. So tell me how that has even affected your life, not having a connection with your biological dad, right? How did that affect your life, your career? Do you think that that had a lot to even do with some of the reasons why you were kind of more edgy? Not so much your career, but even that relationship not being what you would expect it to be.
Yeah, I think that not having my biological dad in my life from the beginning, and then, hearing kind of the narrative around it, it planted a seed, because we only know, what we learn. So it planted a seed of rejection and abandonment. Not consciously thinking that, but subconsciously. So then anytime I have a friendship or relationship, or even in a work environment, you're really carrying this expectation that people don't stay in my life, people are gonna leave, I'm gonna get wounded again. And it was something that stayed with me for a very long time. So I would push people away, be really dismissive. If I felt like someone was gonna hurt me in a relationship, interpersonal relationship, then I was gonna be that first person to do it. I wasn't gonna have it be told to me. And I did that out in workspaces. I did that a lot. And then regretted it later on. Because then I didn't have those people in my life. Sometimes the people had to stay out of my life.
Some other people's out there, right?
Some people didn't need to go on the journey. But there was a lot of people I fell out with that later on, years later, we reconciled, and I recognized the part I played in it, of not just being vulnerable and honest and saying, like, this hurt me, or, I took this action as, but me just saying, instead I made a decision for the two of us, which is hurtful to that other person. So I think that that stems from the father wound. That's what they call it, the father wound. And I had to get to a place of healing that wound. And it's a perpetual, it continues. But I had to really say, I forgive him, so that my other relationships are okay, because this is carrying into the way that I interact with everybody in my life, even work-wise.
So did you recognize when you were pushing people, did you recognize, like, when you sat with yourself, did you recognize that, wow, like, I just kind of projected all of this stuff onto this person or onto the relationship I have with this person, and these are the reasons why. Or it just never clicked.
Yeah.
It was never clicking like that.
It never clicked. I would realize it like years, like time had to pass for me to really say, oh, okay, that's what, oops. That's what happened.
No, oops, oh, wow. Man, I kind of messed that up. I was wrong right there. Okay.
Yeah, because you know what it takes? It almost takes like another situation that's similar, or, you know, because you have to learn the lesson.
Yeah.
If you don't keep learning, it's going to keep presenting. So then when it came up again, now I have the benefit of, now this situation actually works.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, this is to show me that that wasn't really what I was thinking. This is. And then you have more gratitude for those relationships, those connections, those people. And so that's what it took me to, I had to learn and see it got worse over here. And that's not really what I thought was over here. So it took some processing. But yeah, I didn't know in the moment. In the moment, I'm like, you're wrong, I'm right. I'm protecting myself, doing it, I'm looking out for myself. And not even contemplating that it could be hurtful to the other side. Because I've made them the villain.
Yeah. We talked, I shared that with you. I told this former person in my life, like, if doing what's best for you results in damaging other people all the time, ain't no best in nothing you doing.
Yeah.
Ain't no good in nothing you doing.
Yeah.
If that's the excuse, if that's the default, I'm just doing, I gotta look out for me, I gotta do this. But if you're leaving damaged humans in your wake every time, yeah, babe, you gotta go do some real self-reflecting.
Yeah.
You gotta really go and do some good shadow work, some inner work. You gotta really try to work on yourself. People gotta turn off social medias and turn off podcasts for a while and really go and sit with that and figure out some of the same things that you did. I hope that that you continue to find resolve in your relationship with your dad.
Thank you.
I do, yeah.
I think it's, you know, it's gonna happen. It's all coming to the surface. I'm talking about it more publicly.
That's so good.
Which I never wanted to, you know, just culturally, people say, you don't need to tell all your business, but I recognize that that's empowering for me, for my family. It's gonna help other people in our community. And it's healing. Every time I write a little bit about it, or I share it on social media, or talk with someone about it, it's like just healing a little bit more.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. My podcast, there's an episode, I don't know which episode it is, or maybe season 1, like episode 6 or something, but the name of it is There's Victory in Your Testimony. And that's it. That's really it. God has He's delivered us and taught us forgiveness and grace so that we can show other people what He has taught us. So we don't hold those things, we use them to empower ourselves, to empower other people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like when we remove ourselves and say it's not about me. So if I'm uncomfortable sharing, it's not about it's about
yourself, it's about
others and who are meant to serve and impact. So as soon as I take it off of me, then it's like I have to share. It's my role, it's my job to do it. So yeah.
I'm excited for Gen 38.
Thank you.
I'm excited for your work, excited to see you just implode in this industry. I already see it, you know, from telling me you flew outward, you went to Liberty Mutual to speak there, right?
Yeah.
So you've been out doing the work, man. That's so dope, babe.
Thank you.
That's so dope. You got the credentials, baby. Young, black, and gifted. Ain't that what they say? Yeah. Hey, and the bag is coming.
Yeah.
But you know, God said it's coming, you know, that bag is coming, okay? You're gonna be able to reach more, impact more people, make a greater difference. I'm so happy you came and sat and talked. Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here. I want to do more. I just love this space, and I want to your mission and what you guys are doing, Bridge Builders. I would love to just do more with the organization.
Come back and see us and hang out. Come back and host us a breathwork session right here in the space.
That'd be awesome.
We would love that. I'm trying to encourage more women to come and use the space, the community of women that are in business for themselves to come in here and use the space and teach a class, empower the women around you. Let's kind of change the narrative of the infighting of women, the infighting of Black women in leadership and in business. Let's change the narrative and work together to continue to be impactful.
Yes, it's about the collaboration. Seriously.
Man.
When it's just us,
without the collaboration, you can hang it up and forget about it, okay? It's just gonna make it just so impossible. Just do good work together, highlight each other, celebrate each other. Whitney, before we go, she was actually, Whitney actually did, spoke at Girls' Day Party, a celebration of Black women in business. And listen, we called, because we had, when you're publicly doing something, you also are publicly, I don't want to use the word failing, but everything's exposed because you're public, right? Not only your successes, but some of your shortcomings and shortfalls. So we have to call and check on people to find out about their experiences. And one of the best feedbacks we got was your talk. And women felt empowered and touched, and they enjoyed your story and your talk. So I'm grateful.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I love that. I appreciate that. Yeah.
You gotta come back.
I'll come back.
Y'all follow, make sure y'all follow Whitney Harvey. She is on Facebook. If y'all wanna just find her quickly under Whitney Harvey. From there, you'll be able to find where she is with Gen 38. Gen 38 is spelled
GEN and then capital THIRTY and then the number 8.com.
Y'all be able to find her there. Her website is there. Of course, she's on LinkedIn as well. You guys can go out and find her at Whitney Harvey on LinkedIn. This will be still up on LinkedIn. It'll still be up on YouTube. I'm gonna delete it from Facebook because I would like to drive more people to the LinkedIn space. It's just the space of LinkedIn is definitely what we want to get into so that we're surrounding ourselves with like-minded women that are serious about their business, about their careers, about their professions, about their small businesses, about their big businesses, about being impactful. So share the space here on LinkedIn. Go to my YouTube if you miss it here. We're so grateful for all of you that tuned in. Thank you so much. Those of you that commented, we see the comments from way over here. But we're gonna go in and I'm gonna look at the comments and we'll kind of respond. I'll have Whitney kind of drop her link in LinkedIn. She'll go there and drop her link in the comments, drop her link in the comments on Facebook and also on YouTube. So y'all join me back again here next week. Who am I talking to next?
Yes.
Oh, here we are. We're back. So we're done anyway, y'all. Thank y'all so much. I wish I could see the comments from here, but I cannot. I love all of you women that are supporting my platform because when you support my platform, you're also supporting another woman in business platform. Let's continue to show up for each other. Y'all stay tuned. Follow me once a week. I'll be meeting with another amazing woman every week so that we can highlight her and support her in what she's doing, which is being impactful and changing the world. Thank you, babe.
Thank you.
Love you too. Bye, y'all. We'll see y'all next time.